Hello there guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is Crochet Vision. Today I have Joann's updates for you, and I haven't really been making a bunch of these because there has not been a lot to share recently. Not a lot's going on, but now we finally have an update, and I got a lot of these updates straight from the stores themselves. So let's get started. Today we did get the official update that a lot of stores are closing by the end of April. The first fleet of stores that are closing at the end of April. So check your store. A lot of the employees have been willing to tell me what the update is of when they think that their store is going to close. A lot of the stores near me aren't closing until May, and we're starting to hear rumors of maybe the second week of June. So that is new. I'm not sure how that's going to work with the court documents, because the court documents say May 31st, but they're starting to hear June. They have no idea. But the stores that are closing, they know they are closing at the end of April. There's a few scattered dates in there. They're doing it in fleets, and what I was told today is that some of the fabric and things in other stores are being sent to the open stores. Now, I don't know if that's just because it's my area and there's like a Joann's every half hour in every direction. So I don't know if the stores that are much more spread out, they're doing that, but I have been told that this one store that I was specifically at today, the smaller stores that are closing around them are sending them leftover stuff. When they did finally announce that they were officially closing all of the stores, there was so much panic buying that they rolled back the sales. They held back on their sales schedule. Now that some stores have official close dates is when we're going to start to see really, really good deals. The discounts are different at every single store. I have seen, at some stores I have seen fur at 70% off. At other stores I've seen it at 40% off. And that is all going to have to do with when they are scheduled to close. However, I have seen more than one store that is set to close now at the end of April, and they even have different sales. So if you see a sale at a different store, don't expect your store to match it. They can't do that anymore. I mean, there's no more gift cards, there's no more coupons, there's no online. So they can't match the prices of other stores. It goes on their specific schedule of what's going to go on sale when. And that is all coming down from the head liquidators. The sales will continue to get better as the sale and liquidation progresses. But again, each store is different. Please, please, please don't yell at the employees because it's different price. I've seen it. I've watched it happen at some of these stores where they're like, well, I was at here yesterday and it was this percent, so you have to give it to me. Please don't be that person. Please don't be that person. These poor employees are going through enough. The price is the price, and they literally can't do anything about it. I heard a rumor that the yarn is not going to go below 30% off until the very end. Now, this is just a rumor, and I follow someone on Instagram. If I remember their name, or if I could find their name, I'm going to put it here. Her store is on the list of stores to close. She posts the deals that are happening in her store almost every day, whatever day she works. And she said today the yarn finally hit 40% at her store, and they're on the set to close at the end of April. They also have a ton of yarn at that specific store. So again, I don't know if it's going to depend on how much yarn there is, what their deal is, how they're going to keep liquidating the yarn, but it's going store by store. It's a store by store case for a lot of this, unfortunately. But the yarn has been selling so well at 30%, and they keep selling out of it that they really aren't going to lower it until the end. Womp womp. I'm going to say this again. I know I've said it before. I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again until it sticks. SpinRite owns Yarnspirations. SpinRite and Yarnspirations are the same company. SpinRite launched their online shopping in 2010, and in 2013 they rebranded it for all of the brands that they own as Yarnspirations. They have a ton of brands, and so they put it all under one website and called it Yarnspirations. In 2011, they bought the Karen brand from National Spinning, and that is Karen Simply Soft, Karen Cakes, any of the Karen yarns, the Karen 1 pounds, that's all Karen. They also came with a latch hook company, which is those Wonder Art latch hook kits that you see. That was from National Spinning that SpinRite bought. So that's now under Yarnspirations as of 2011. In 2019, they acquired Coats & Clark, which is Susan Bates, Red Heart, the zippers, the Coats & Clark zippers. I'm going to put it right up on the screen here of the brands that SpinRite owns, all under the Yarnspiration umbrella. It's the same thing. Again, okay, SpinRite, Yarnspiration, same thing. But this is all the brands that they own. Some of these I had no idea, okay? Anchor is embroidery floss. Didn't know that. Aunt Lydia's crochet thread for doilies and dresses and like the thread that you could crochet with that you need like a 2-point whatever needle for. Not for me, but I always see Aunt Lydia's the thread. That's under their umbrella. Bernat blanket yarn, Bernat baby blanket yarn, Bernat velvet. All of those are owned by Spinrite. Now, most of Bernat blanket yarn and Bernat baby blanket yarn are made in China. So we are not sure how that's going to play out right now of what's going to happen. I am very interested to see how that's going to continue to happen, but that's all for another video, not for this one. Karen Cakes, Karen Simply Soft, they're actually made in the US, so that's something. Coates & Clark is embroidery floss, quilting thread, yarn zips, and I'm assuming regular zippers. That'd be my assumption. Lily Sugar and Cream, that's your cotton. Pattens, a lot of people use Pattens sock yarn and wool yarn. They're more thin. They're either DK weight or 2 weight, or honestly sometimes 1, the super fine. Pattens. The yarns are nice, they're just way too thin for me to use. Peaches and Cream, which I've only ever seen at Walmart. I did not know that Spinrite owns Lily Sugar and Cream and Peaches and Cream. I don't know why they wouldn't combine them and keep one, but I don't know. Fentex, which I have never seen in stores. I've never seen Fentex, so I don't really know. It says it's a yarn, but I don't know. Red Heart yarns. Any Red Heart yarn. Red Heart Super Saver, Red Heart Unforgettable, Red Heart Roll With It Melange, Red Heart, any of the Red Hearts. Yarn Inspirations. Susan Bates crochet hooks. That's all of them. And Wonder Art. Wonder Art is the latch hook kits. I love the kits, but currently on the Yarn Inspiration website, it says that all of the latch hook kits are on clearance or are discontinued. So I don't know if that means that they're not going to make them anymore or what the deal is. I have no idea. The woman that I spoke to on the phone with Spinrite, it's actually kind of funny because she said, I don't know how this viral rumor started, but we don't own it. We don't manufacture it. We have nothing to do with it. And if we did, it would be at the bottom of the website where all of the rest of them are, and it would just say exclusively sold at Joann, and it doesn't. I was like, I know, but I needed to call just to confirm because internet is a little crazy. So yet again, they don't own Big Twist yarn. That's the end of my story, and I'm sticking to it. I know that this upsets so many people, and I know we want to be able to find it elsewhere. My caution right now is there are so many scammy websites. Please, please, please be careful when you are shopping online. I have seen the Big Twist website that says that it's made by Spinrite. That website is an AI generated website. When you start going to the pictures, you can tell that it's not a real website. And the only way to buy from it, it sends you to Amazon and sends you to resellers. So they're taking a skein that was once $4.49. If you bought it on sale before liquidation started, it was like $2.50 a skein. Then you're upselling it for $17.99. So even the resellers are eventually going to sell out. And I'm so sorry. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what it is. Now, there is a chance that someone could buy the Big Twist name and the yarn itself. Even if someone does that, there's no guarantee that the yarn is going to be made the same, look the same, be the same. It's very easy to just slap a yarn label on any type of yarn that's made elsewhere, but you own the name Big Twist, so you can say it's Big Twist. So there is no guarantee that even if someone picks it up and wants to make it, that it's going to be anything close to what we're used to. They also, even if they own it, they might not make it at all. And a prime example of that is Stitch Studio by Nicole from AC Moore. These are some of the Stitch Studio Nicole yarns that I still have left. This was the Stitch Studio by Nicole Storybook Fanfare. And I mean, nothing compared to Stitch Studio by Nicole. It was on another level, and I will keep saying that till I'm blue in the face. This is, I wouldn't say it's comparable to Karen Simply Soft. It's a little bit silky, but it doesn't slide the way that Karen Simply Soft does, and it doesn't split the way that Karen Simply Soft does. They just, AC Moore worked some magic with their yarn brands. Now someone owns the name to Stitch Studio by Nicole, and they own the logo, but it's never come back. And AC Moore has been gone for 5 years now. They closed in 2020. I remember it like it was yesterday. That's the Stitch Studio by Nicole yarn, but it's just a prime example. Now, for the big twist yarn that they do have, again, I have not seen it lower than 30% off. I know at this one store I've seen online, it's 40% off. But for me right now, that's still not a very good sale unless I really need something. And that's just a situation that I'm in right now. I've been buying a few things here and there, but I don't need to go gung-ho crazy on yarn just yet. Now, they're hiring and they say you get an extra 30% off on top of everything if you're an employee. Now that's a good deal. 60% off, that's a good deal. That's something I would consider. I've been considering getting a job at Joann. I think it could be really fun for like the last month because then I have no strings attached. And if I want to leave, I can just leave and there's no consequences for leaving. But just to have that experience, I think it could be fun. Maybe I'm absolutely crazy. I mean, I know I am, but I've thought about it. There are so many scammy websites. Please, please, please be careful when you are shopping online. The Joann website shut down on March 5th. And since then, a whole bunch of websites have been popping up saying that they're Joann, and they're not. So please don't get scammed. Please do your research. But that also means that your data that was in Joann probably isn't as safe. So your credit card information, I don't know how you paid on Joann, your bank information maybe, who knows? It's probably not as secure as it once was. And I can't say that for sure or guarantee, but caution to the wind, because I feel like that website is rather hackable right now because I doubt that their IT people are really keeping their eye on it, especially since they shut down their online store. There's actually a really big banner when you go to the Joann website saying they shut down their website on March 5th. Don't get scammed. You can't buy from Joann online anymore. Don't get scammed. It's right up at the top of their website. It's rather funny. Actually, it's because it's in gray and then everything else is green and pretty and big. It's like a dark gray at the top with white letters. I was like, okay, all right. As much work as I don't think Joann is putting into their website right now, they are paying a lot for ads. I don't know if you guys have seen them all over everywhere, but I have seen nothing but Joann's ads like crazy since liquidation started. Because now it's like everything is 30 up to 60% off. I'm like, whoa, nonstop. I just keep seeing the ads and seeing the ads. I'm also seeing ads that they're still hiring. And a lot of the stores that I've been at still have signs saying that they are still hiring. I've also heard that some of the employees, if there is another store that's close to them, they can get transferred to the other store. If that store closes after them, then they're still out of a job by the end. And the managers are getting a bonus if they stay to the end. Found that out today. Another thing I keep seeing online from a lot of creators is this is my last Joann's trip ever. I've been going to Joann's a lot recently to try to get the scoop on as much as possible, hoping that there will be an update. But even so, a lot of the stores are still getting shipments. So why is it your last trip? I mean, I know it's a little clickbaity and we all do it, but if we all know the sales aren't all that good yet, wouldn't we wait like a little bit longer and then do our last trip? Like, I mean, get what you need now, but also wait and see what ends up happening, because maybe you'll get some really good deals. I don't know. I mean, for the stores closing in April, we have a month, but for the rest of the stores, we still have 2 months. Like, that's a lot of time for them to get in stuff. And when I was at a store the other day, I was at Downingtown today. I was at West Deptford. It wasn't Cherry Hill. I was at West Deptford the other day. They got 100 boxes of yarn. They are still getting more shipment as this is continuing to progress. At one of my stores, she said they have about 5 more shipments from their warehouse until their warehouse is empty. Now, that doesn't mean all stores are getting boxes still. There's one store near me that hasn't gotten a box since before they announced the 500 stores that were closing. They also are one of the stores that is closing in April, but they have not gotten a shipment since before the crazy. They were also one of the first 500 that were set to close. They were told they were a low volume store and that they weren't selling fast enough to get trucks. They were told they might get some of the augmented shipments, but they're not sure yet. The lease for that store that's closing, and it's a smaller store, is $16,000 a month. Found that out and I was like, whoa. Yeah. Okay. The stores are also starting to receive shipments of augmented product. Now that means these liquidation companies have done other liquidations, right? So one of them that they just did is Big Lots. Back in the day, There's so many different liquidations that Great American and Gordon Brothers have both done. They still have product from those other liquidations. So at the moment, if it makes sense, they're shipping that stuff to the Joann stores. So I've been seeing a lot of baking stuff. I've been seeing a lot of like utensils or gardening stuff and things of that nature. If it doesn't say like the Ashland name on it, which was one of the Joann brands, it's probably the augmented shipment. A lot of like oven mitts and spring stuff. And that stuff is kind of making sense. I also saw kids' toys. They had a lot of kids' toys. But they're bringing that into Joann to also sell with the rest of the Joann product. As this continues to go further and further, it might start to get a little bit like a liquidation warehouse. Like they might get saws or power tools. Like who knows what they'll end up shipping to these stores, because the sales are going so well. They gotta fill the stores with stuff too. And they don't have all of the product that they normally would have. So that is what's starting to happen. I've been seeing it consistently at the stores that I have been going to, except the one that didn't get shipment with the $16,000 a month rent. I've started to see it. I have seen how a Joann closes without a liquidation company, and it's very, very different. My store out on Long Island in Comac closed about 2 years ago. They had a problem with the lease. They were about to hike the rent of the, not the rent of the lease, they were about to hike the cost of the lease, and instead of going along with it, they said, forget it, we're closing, because they had also just opened up a giant store out east in Bohemia. So they completely just shut down Comac. And when a store shuts down and it was under the Joann brand, they went down to $8 a bolt of fabric. The yarn the last week that I went, oh my gosh, it was like $1 a skein, not even. I got some insane deals when that happened. And I know a lot of other people across the country have had a Joann or two close. These liquidations are not going to be the same as that was. There is no guarantee that things are going to drop down that low. There's no guarantee we're going to see that $8 a bolt sale, like for the whole bolt of fabric. There's no guarantee for that. And I think a lot of people are waiting for that to happen because they know that that's a common Joann sale. It might not happen this time. Now, Great American also did the Hancock fabric liquidation when Hancock fabric went out of business. So by the end, we might get to that point, because I feel like Great American does have a general idea of how to liquidate a fabric store because they've done it before. But I don't think we can count on that exact sale happening that we're used to when a Joann goes out of business. Most stores have a 2 to 3 yard minimum for fabric. The store I was at today had a 5 yard minimum on fabric. The 2 yard minimum is for most of the yarn in the store. The 3 and 5 yard minimums was for the home decor fabrics. So any of like the fabric for like your outdoor chairs or anything upholstery or things like that was a 5 yard minimum at the store I was at today. And they have more like home decor fabric than I have ever seen in my life. I was actually really surprised that it was a 5 yard minimum, because it's one of two things. I was talking with one of the employees about it. I'm like, it's one of two things. Either they're trying to keep the shelves a little bit more stocked so it sells a little bit slower because they're selling everything so fast, or they're trying to get rid of it all because they have so much. The employee thought it was the fact that they want to slowly sell it and not sell it all at once. I don't know. But again, a lot of stores are still getting shipment. What I'm gathering from when I spoke to the managers at the different stores, they have no idea what's coming in these shipments. So again, please be kind. I'm going to just keep reiterating, please be kind to the employees. Please don't ask them when they're getting more yarn, or when they're getting more fabric, or when they're getting more felt or whatever. They don't necessarily know, is kind of what I'm gathering, unless it was in that most recent shipment. One of the stores I was at recently, they were just putting out boxes on boxes on boxes of Halloween and Christmas. Like so many boxes of just Halloween and Christmas. Then the store I was at yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever, they had over 100 boxes of just yarn, and it was just yarn, nothing else. So they really have no idea what's coming in. So just don't be all like, when are you getting this? When is your next shipment? What is this coming? They have no idea. They're kind of getting told the day before a shipment's coming. I got to the store I was at today. They were like, yeah, we got surprised with a shipment this morning. We had no idea it was coming. I was like, oh, sorry, like that's terrible. Ew. They're like, yeah, we got 100 bucks of yarn. They're here, they're there. We got to get them all out. I'm like, I can't imagine how stressful that is. Like, oof. Joann employees, you guys are killing it. We love you. On the topic of the employees, I've been speaking to a lot of them recently, and the vibe from all of them has been so much better. Even from before the liquidation started, it's I'll tell you exactly what it feels like. It feels like they finally have enough employees to stock the stores and make it a stress-free shift that they've kind of taken a deep breath. I spoke to one employee and she was kind of like, yeah, we were grieving. We were all upset about it for a bit, but we've kind of accepted it and moved on, that this is just happening. So at least the shifts have been better and easier because we have enough people. She literally said to me, it's so much better that we actually have the staff we need to make the store run. You can't ask for more than that. And the last 4, 5, 6 times I've been to these stores since the liquidation was announced, there have been more employees in every single store working than I have seen at a Joann store in the past 5 years. Like, I swear. And I can't imagine how much of a relief that is. The stores are working the way they were supposed to. Before the liquidation, they'd have max 2 people on, 1 person at the counter and 1 person at the cutting counter. That's no way to run a store. I had one manager tell me that before all of this, she had barely 300 hours a week to give to employees, and now she has between 700 and 800 hours to give to the employees. She said, I don't even have enough staff to use that many hours. She got to hire 10 new people and actually staff the store and stock the shelves. And she was so happy that she's like, they're finally giving me hours. We've been asking for hours for a long time. And it's actually kind of amazing because the stores are running so much more efficiently than I have seen, just because they have employees working. There's some stores I've seen like 2, 3 people on the cutting counter. Like, it's so much smoother. And I hope that is making the employees' days a bit easier, because I know they're getting asked crazy insane questions, and I've got some customers being so nasty and upset. So I hope that is giving some relief. And the vibes in the stores have just been so good and loving that, like, we all love Joann and we're all upset with, like, camaraderie, I guess. I mean, that's what it feels like. Maybe I'm just BSing it and making it up in my head, but that's kind of just what it feels like. I mean, there are some stores that have little, like, we love you, Joann, share your Joann stories with us, we've loved serving you over the past 82 years. And they have like these little green signs that you can fill out your why you love Joann's or tell your Joann story. It's wholesome. Is that the right word? I don't know. Again, the one manager of that store said she'll be getting 4 or 5 more shipments from the warehouse before the warehouse is empty. She loves working at Joann so much. She comes from New Jersey to Delaware every day. Even though there are Joanns in New Jersey, she comes to this Joann every day. And I've seen her working there for years. And she's lovely. Absolutely lovely. She also told me they're about 2 weeks away from countdowns. The countdowns for how long the stores are staying open. I don't know when that's exactly going to start. She didn't give me an exact when. I do know that a few of my local stores are in the last fleet to close. So we will be going to Joann's, friends, until the end. And as long as there's a store open, I'm going to go find it. However, all of them. The 3 stores that told me they are closing end of May, and it's confirmed they're closing end of May, beginning of June, whenever they decide. All of those stores were on the first 500 stores to close. So don't assume that because your store was listed in the first 500 to close that they are closing in April. They might not be. You might still have at least another month. I have seen that the machines are starting to go on sale. I've seen sewing machines at 30% off, Cricuts, things like that. The warranty for those machines is still active. So if you buy a Brother sewing machine, the Brother warranty will still be in effect. However, if you buy a Joann sewing machine, because they just came out with a Joann sewing machine, they don't have a warranty anymore because there's no Joann anymore. And I saw that stickered on a box today while I was at the store, that it says the warranty on this machine is no longer active. And that was something. But I know a lot of stores have already sold out of Cricut, so it's really going to depend on what the stores have in stock. I don't know. I have a horrible irrational fear of sewing machines, so I will not be buying one. But if you are looking for one, I've seen at most stores, again, I'm not going to say all stores because every store is different, at about 30%. The store fixtures are for sale, which I think is really cool. And I've seen a lot of other liquidations over the years of my life. And I've always felt that the fixtures were really expensive. And I don't feel like these are that horribly priced. They're actually pretty reasonable. They're also selling their shopping carts, and I was very, very tempted to get a shopping cart. I actually had one on hold at a store, and they said, we'll call you tomorrow, and they never called me. I was like, okay, fine, forget it, it's fine. And then today, I saw baskets, and I didn't even think. I was like, what am I going to use a shopping cart for? Content. Don't need to buy a shopping cart. It was 20 bucks, but I didn't need it. But they're selling the baskets, and I don't know how much they're selling the baskets for because there is no sign saying how much they're selling the baskets for. But I have my name down for a basket because I'm like, I would use a basket to bring my yarn up and down the stairs and do whatever I need to do. That would be amazing. Are you kidding me? A Joann basket? I was so excited. I was like, forget the shopping cart. I want a basket. I want the basket. So put it in the comments if you want to see me get a shopping cart and a basket. But I'm definitely getting a basket. But maybe it's 20 bucks. Maybe we'll get a shopping cart. Who knows? Some of the other things that I have been able to get from the stores recently, I'm really excited about. One store finally gave me a box. They were so sweet. They're like, you want the box? Take the box. The next day I went back to the same store to talk about something else. And they're like, the one manager was not very nice. She yelled at a lady that she couldn't take the box because we need those. I'm like, what the hell do you need empty boxes for? She was very, very nasty, and nasty to her employees too. So that was not nice. But shout out to Jess, who was so sweet at one of the stores, was helping me with so much stuff. Mwah. Thank you, love. I also got, I wanted one of these so bad. They're Bernat Make It Home. These always had blanket yarn in them, and I wanted one. So now I have one. I think we're going to start putting some of the garage yarn in these and putting them up at the top. And I think I'm going to move the things that I have up on the top of the shelf somewhere else because I now have boxes and they need a home. The last thing I got from the stores was I got some signs. Now these we're definitely going to go over in another video coming soon. So make sure you subscribe because you don't want to miss this. This goes over a whole bunch of the different needles and things. These signs are from Susan Bates, and I'm so excited. I actually paid $5 a piece for these signs because I thought it would be so fun to go over them. I don't know. Maybe it'll be boring, but we're gonna find out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is another Hooks Explained. I'm very excited about it. This one is How to Read a Yarn Label. Thank you, Joann. Again, another thing I think would be fun to go over. Oh, and this one was the knitting needles. Look at that. Amazing. Got all those. Then, Ben actually got me. Where's my sign? Not the right sign. Because I was hiding it elsewhere. I was at one of the stores and I was making Ben wait for me to talk to them about something. And Ben found this sign and he goes, this was the first sign that we got before I started collecting Joann signs. And he's like, my wife needs this sign. I want to buy it. I don't care how much it is. It says, Joann confession number 23. I'd rather have a closet full of yarn than a closet full of shoes. We're gonna hang this up in the yarn room somewhere. I don't know where, but I'm obsessed. And that was all from Ben. Now, once they decided to give me this sign, then of course I walked around the entire store and had to find others. So, I don't know if we're gonna put this one up or what we're gonna do with it. I gotta find space. Crafting is cheaper than therapy. Probably not true in my case, but you know, I have it now. Ben literally was like, that's a lie. I love you. And this one is for a friend of mine. She's the maid of honor at my wedding. She's a seamstress and I adore her. And again, I don't know if she'll be able to fit this in her house, but we have it, so it's fine. It's confession number 52. A true friend helps you hide your fabric stash. And she's the one I'd always go to Joann with. So Shannon, if you're watching, I got that for you. And then, I don't know where we're gonna put it, but I got the Bernat blanket yarn sign. And I got a second one. One of them says number 6 weight and the other one says number 7. I wanted 2 of them in case I messed up with the first one because I'm definitely gonna have to cut these down because they are so long, but now I have signs. Is that absolutely ridiculous? Yes, and I totally don't care. These ones are also like cardboard. The other ones were like plastic, like hard plastic. So we have all of those. Very, very excited about them. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see where we're going to put them, because I have no idea yet, but I'm very excited. And now back to court and what's happening with the court case and hearings and everything. So there was supposed to be an omnibus hearing on March 5th, and then it was rescheduled to April 3rd. I am 90% sure I'm saying those dates right. Give me 2 seconds to double check myself. Yes. And then it was moved for a third time to May 6th. I don't know why. It doesn't say why. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why they keep pushing it off, but they do. So that's a thing. And then there's a general bar date on September 8th. I think that's kind of to just close the book. It sounds like a whole bunch of legal mumbo jumbo and legal jargon and like a whole bunch of procedural nonsense. So it doesn't sound like it's anything exciting. They might have to have some sort of something, because it says in the court documents they have to be closed by May 31st. And if I'm hearing from the stores now that they're going to close in June, they got to change that in the court documents. So I don't know how that's going to work, but that I have had 2 stores tell me they are hearing second week of June. I've had other stores tell me they are hoping it's going to be May 31st, but they're starting to hear June as well. So I don't know how that's going to work or what's going to happen. So just don't shoot the messenger. I have no idea. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was the SNL skit. I don't know if you guys saw the SNL skit. I didn't think it was funny at all. Oh my God. And I mean, maybe it's because I go to Joann all the time and they were making fun of the fact that the only people that work there are retired nurses and they're all injured and they're moms and they're sniffing markers to stay awake and get high at work. And then she was drinking. I think it was really out of touch with A, the consumer, and B, the people who work there, because at least at most of my stores, it's a really inclusive work environment. There are people of all different shapes, sizes, ethnicities. I've seen a lot of hirees of the LGBTQ community who are out and proud and feel safe to show it at Joann. And that in of itself is so special. To make jokes that it's just suburban moms who drink to get through the workday and you're sweeping the dirt to spread the dirt back on the floor during your shift. I've never looked at an employee that way when I've walked into a Joann, and it felt fairly disrespectful to A, the employees, and B, the people who shop there. Like, it didn't come across well to me. I didn't like it. I did not think it was funny. And I know it's meant to be a joke, but I think it would have meant more had they done a comedy skit about the store closing and just in a different way. It's very clear that it was a New York City skit. And in New York City, there isn't a Joann. So again, they were very, very out of touch, in my opinion. Again, we're all allowed to have our own opinions. I didn't like it. I thought it was really out of touch and not very nice to the employees who are all losing their jobs. Again, please send love to all of your employees. They are the ones losing their jobs. We're losing our favorite craft stores, but they're losing their jobs. Now, thankfully, I've been hearing from a lot of the employees that most of them have a lot of other stuff lined up. But be kind. It is so much easier to spread kindness than hate. And I'm going to keep saying that. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind. On that note, my name is Sarah. This is Crochet Vision. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Maybe hit that subscribe button if you want to continue on this journey with me, the Joann closing journey. I have a big craft show at the end of April, so we're going to start prepping for that. I did have a shoulder injury that I'm nursing just a little bit, so the production aspect has been on hold for a hot second, but we're about to get right back into market prep, and market season is coming up. So if you want to see all of that and follow along with me on my crochet journey, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I have a website, crochetvision.com. You can buy all sorts of things there. I sell my crochet patterns. I sell crochet hook holders now. We're very excited about that. And I also sell stuffies. So if there's something you're interested in, make sure you check out my website. And I think that's all I have for you guys for today. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me. Bye, guys.